Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be going over Lesson 3 in Booklet 3, that is converting between percents and decimals. For this lesson, you will need the lesson itself, as well as the homework that comes after it. I believe it is 1 page each. It should not take us too long to go through the lesson itself. Now, in previous lessons, we talked about how a percentage could be represented in the following form, such as 38%, or it could be represented as a fraction. 38% means that we have 38 parts out of 100, so 38 over 100. There is a third way that you can represent percentages, and that is as a decimal. The third way to represent 38% would be 0.38. Decimal form will be used a lot in the future. We use this for mathematics. If you ever need to multiply a percent by something, for example, you use the decimal form. So the focus of today's lesson is simply how. How do we get from percent form to decimal form, and how do we get from decimal form to percent form? And it's fairly straightforward. Let's take a look at example 1. Express 58% as a decimal. Now, we all know that another way to represent 58% is 58 over 100. And that's exactly what we're going to input into our calculator. Please remember that a fraction is just another way to write division. This fraction is the same thing as 58 divided by 100. If you plug 58 divided by 100 into your calculator, you will get 0.58. Now, if you practice with this enough times, you'll realize that there's a pattern. All that we're doing here is we're taking the number 58 in percent form, and in order to change that to decimal form, we take the decimal itself, which hangs out right here at the end, and we move it 2 spots to the left, giving us 0.58. This is equivalent to dividing it by 100. So these next few questions express 19% as a decimal. Well, 19% is equal to 19 over 100. Plug this into a calculator and you get 0.19. 87% is equal to 87 over 100. Plug that into a calculator and you get 0.87. 36% is equal to 36 over 100. Plug that into a calculator, divide 36 by 100, and you get 0.36. And 5%, be careful with this one, 5% is equal to 5 over 100. Plug that into a calculator. Remember, we're typing in 5 divided by 100. Plug that into a calculator, and you get an answer 0.05. A lot of people accidentally write the answer as 0.5. That's incorrect. 0.5 would be 50%, not 5%. So, in order to turn a percentage into a decimal, all you need to do is divide it by 100 using a calculator or using your head. Next, we're going to go backwards. We're going to turn a decimal into a percent. Now, if we divide to go from a percent to a decimal, If to go from a percent to a decimal we divide by 100, then we need to do the opposite if we want to go from a decimal to a percent. We need to multiply by 100. So over here in your note, I would like you to fill out 0.41. I can times that by 100, and that gives me an answer of 41. Now, since this is in percent form, you need to remember to include the symbol for percentage afterwards. Let's complete these final examples. 0.505. This is in decimal form. If we multiply this by 100, we get 50.5. And remember, that's 50.5%. 0.23, if you multiply that by 100, you get 23. Now it's in percent form, so we draw the percent symbol. 0.66 times 100 gives us 66%. And here is another tricky one, 1.50. That's still a decimal. Even though the number is larger than 1, it's still in decimal form because there is no percentage symbol. Okay, so we're taking this 1.5 in decimal form, multiplying it by 100, and we get 150%. This is one of the first times that we've had a percent over 100. It is allowed. We just don't work with it very often. So you can use a calculator to turn any decimal into a percent by multiplying it by 100. But you can also complete this work using mental math. When you multiply a number by 100, all you need to do is take your decimal and move it 2 numbers to the right. 1 time for each of the zeros in 100. You can see using the red arrows, for example, how I got from 0.505 to 50.5 after I multiplied by 100. All right, now this worksheet for today is a little bit different. The instructions are on the sheet. Complete each exercise and find the answer in the column below it. Write the letter of the answer in the box containing the number of the exercise. What does that mean? So, what you're going to do is solve number 1, right? Number 1, write each percent as a decimal, 42% as a decimal, divide by 100. 42% as a decimal is equal to 0.42. So what you do is you look at the answer sheet for 0.42. Here it is on E. So we're going to go to the bottom, and anywhere that you see a 1, you're going to write E. That is here. Is that the only one? I think that's the only one. So you're going to solve each of these questions, associate a number with a letter, and then write the letter in the bottom. And the answer that you will get will be to the question, what happened after Old King Cole ordered that chopped cabbage must be mixed with mayonnaise? That's all for today. Thank you and have a great night.